She used to have men grab the suitcase out of her hands before she could reach it. Now they ask if she needs a spot on the bar instead. Same woman. Completely different treatment, and it started the moment her strength became visible. Here's the confrontation. You think getting stronger after 60 changes how you feel. It does, but it also changes how every man in your life reads you, responds to you, and recalibrates around you. And almost nobody warns women about that part before it happens. 5 ways this shows up. Some of them feel good. One of them will make you furious. All 5 are backed by real social psychology, not guesswork. Keep watching, because the third one is the reason so many women quietly stop training right when the results start showing. Let's start with the one almost every woman notices first, and almost nobody expects. For decades, it's automatic. A man reaches for the grocery bag, the suitcase, the heavy door, often before she's even asked. It reads as chivalry. What it actually is, according to social dominance research, is a low-cost way of signaling, I'm the capable one here. It's not usually conscious, and it's rarely malicious. It's just a script men run when they perceive a size or strength gap. That script breaks the moment the gap closes. A woman who can visibly deadlift, carry, and lift without strain stops triggering the she needs help response, because physiologically, she doesn't need it anymore. And the men around her pick up on that faster than they'd ever admit out loud. 2 scenarios this shows up in constantly. The moving day, where nobody offers to take the heavier box from her hands anymore. And the hiking trail, where her husband stops automatically taking her backpack at the halfway point. Neither man announces the shift. The behavior just quietly stops. Here's the rarity observation. Most women read this as men not noticing her anymore. It's the opposite. They're noticing more accurately than before. She's simply stopped registering as someone who needs the offer. Ask yourself, when's the last time a man reached for something heavy before you got to it? And did you notice when that stopped? That's way 1, and it's usually the first sign something shifted. Way 2 is less subtle, and a lot of women don't see it coming until it's already happened to them. For most of a woman's life, male attention clusters around appearance. The dress, the hair, the smile. Once visible strength enters the picture, something measurable changes. The comments start referencing capability. How much do you actually lift? That's more than I can do. I wouldn't want arm wrestle you. That's not a smaller compliment. Research on status signaling suggests competence-based praise is reserved for people a man has mentally filed as a peer, not someone to simply admire from a distance. 3 common mistakes women make with this shift. Dismissing the competence comment as less meaningful than the appearance comment, feeling awkward accepting it instead of a compliment on how she looks, and assuming the shift means men find her less attractive, when the data on mate value signaling says the opposite is often true for men who aren't threatened by it. The old dynamic, you look great. The new dynamic, you're stronger than half the guys in here. One is decorative. The other is a peer acknowledging a peer. Here's the counterintuitive part. Women who've been training for years report that competence-based compliments, once they get used to receiving them, feel more durable than appearance-based ones, because they're not tied to lighting, outfit, or a good day. They're tied to something she actually built. That's way 2. Way 3 is the one that makes women want to quit when it starts working. Here's the warning up front. This one stings because it's dressed up as a compliment. You're kind of intimidating, sounds like admiration. It isn't. Social psychology research on status threat shows the word gets deployed specifically when someone's competence challenges an existing hierarchy the speaker was comfortable in. The mechanism. When a woman's physical capability visibly exceeds a man's, especially a man who's used to being the stronger one in the room, his brain registers a status challenge before he's consciously aware of it. Intimidating is the socially acceptable way to say, you've disrupted a comparison I wasn't ready to lose. This shows up in 3 specific places. The gym comment from a man who's never spoken to her before, the dating app match who fades silently after she mentions her numbers, and the family dinner where someone jokes about her showing off. None of these are really about her. All 3 are status responses wearing a compliment's clothing. Here's the trap most women fall into. They hear intimidating and quietly scale back, Lighter weights, smaller numbers mentioned out loud, apologizing for taking up space at the rack. That's the exact response the comment is engineered to produce, whether or not the man saying it knows that. The fix isn't to get louder. It's to recognize the comment for what it is. Data about him, not a verdict on her, and keep loading the bar. That's the one that costs women the most progress. Way 4 is quieter, and it happens closer to home. Adult children and close family often respond to a woman's new strength with a confusing mix of pride and quiet unease, because her role in the family's internal hierarchy just changed too. Here's the truth that surprises people. Strangers are rarely the hardest audience for this. Family is. A woman who spent decades being the one who needed the jar opened, the ride to the airport, the reassurance that she'd be fine, suddenly doesn't need any of it. That's a role shift, and families don't always adjust to role shifts gracefully, even happy ones. Adult children often respond first with genuine pride, and then, within the same conversation, with a comment that undercuts it. Just don't overdo it. Are you sure that's safe at your age? Delivered with real affection and real discomfort at the same time. Neither reaction cancels the other out. Both are true simultaneously, and that's exactly what makes it confusing to sit through. Here's the vulnerable part. This one can genuinely hurt because it comes from people who love her, and the discomfort isn't really about her safety. It's about a family system recalibrating around someone who used to be the one being looked after and now increasingly isn't. Flip this from hurt to information. The pushback is rarely about the deadlift. It's about a family renegotiating who plays which role. And the woman who keeps training through that renegotiation is usually the one who ends up setting the new terms, not the one who gets talked out of it. That's way 4. Way 5 is the one most women actually want the answer to, and it involves dating. Here's the split that mate preference research consistently finds. A woman's visible strength and independence reads as a strong positive signal to men who aren't threatened by female competence, and as a disqualifying signal to men who need to feel like the stronger, more capable one in the relationship. Both reactions are real. Neither is really about her body. They're about what each man needs to feel secure. This is where the earlier pillars connect. The man who stops offering unsolicited help, who shifts to competence-based compliments, who never reaches for intimidating as a deflection, he's very often the same man who leans in rather than fades out. The man who needs the hierarchy intact is very often the same one making the backhanded jokes at dinner. Here's the reframe. Dating fade-outs after mentioning her numbers aren't rejection of her. They're a filtering mechanism, doing its job faster and more honestly than months of dating would. A woman who keeps training isn't narrowing her romantic options. She's getting faster, clearer information about which options were ever real to begin with. That's not a consolation prize. That's the actual mechanism. And it's the reason women who've trained for years consistently report the same thing. The relationships that survive the transition are stronger for having survived it, and the ones that don't, we're never going to hold anyway. That's the last of the 5. Here's what all of them add up to. None of these 5 reactions are about whether a woman should get strong. They're about what happens after she already has. And almost nobody warns her in advance, so every one of these lands as a surprise instead of information she was prepared for. The help stops because she stopped needing it. The compliments change shape because respect changed shape. The word intimidating shows up because a hierarchy got disrupted. Family gets strange because a role got renegotiated. And dating sorts itself, faster and more honestly, because strength is a filter whether anyone admits it or not. No fluff, no hype, just what actually happens and why. If you want the deeper breakdown of the intimidating mechanism on its own, the next video pulls that one apart in full, the exact research behind why men reach for that word, and what to say back the next time someone uses it on you.